Well, hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while since I made a video. I wanted to talk about the James Gunn DC controversy. Everybody is so mad. I watched Angry Joe and I watched John Campion. I've watched a lot of different people get very upset about Henry Cavill's Superman being out. And also James Gunn announced that a new Batman is going to be recast as well. So just to catch everybody up on what has happened, James Gunn and Peter Safran, who are now the heads over at DC with David Zaslav coming in as the new CEO, he appointed Peter Safran and James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad film, the second one, to be the studio head. So now they're in charge of everything. And basically what they've done is a couple of things. One, they've axed all of the prior DC stuff except for the Batman with Robert Pattinson, but Aquaman is gone. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman's gone. Henry Cavill as Superman is gone, and Ben Affleck as Batman is gone. Now, Ben Affleck is in talks to direct a Batman film, so that's kind of interesting. They could maybe do like a Batman Beyond multiverse sort of Batman, but primarily I think it's going to be a recast Batman, or it's not going to be Batman at all, which is probably the most likely. But either way, Ben Affleck is not going to be playing Batman. Henry Cavill is out as Superman, etc., etc. And James Gunn is writing a new Superman film. So now you're caught up to speed, and I want to give you my thoughts on it. And I also really want to know what you guys think, because I've seen a very mixed response to this. And honestly, I support it. And you guys know I'm one of the rare defenders of the Snyderverse. I loved Batman v Superman. I infamously, at the time when I was, relevant on YouTube in 2017, I hated Suicide Squad, or loved Suicide Squad rather, and people just fucking tore me to smithereens for that take at the time in 2016 rather. And I stand by it. I still like the movie. I think it's fun. It is edited like a music video, but it's kind of entertaining. For an ADHD brain like me, it kept my pea brain entertained. No, but in all seriousness, I actually support this move. And the reason why is I just had seen what DC was doing in the last 3 to 4 years. And what they were doing was, it's like the equivalent of trying to replace the jet engine midair as it was pummeling towards Earth. Like the plane's crashing, it's about to explode. And in the meantime, you're trying to switch out the engines mid-flight. When in reality, that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is just take the L, let the plane crash and explode, and then take off a new plane, a new, nicer plane from the start that you can take off. And I just had seen that they were trying to still make references to the old DC films, but they couldn't get any of the actors back. And the way they structured the contracts also wasn't good, because they didn't get any cameos like the Marvel movies did. When these MCU actors signed their contracts, they signed 6 movie deals, but instead that was not the case for most of these DCEU actors. They really were just like, okay, come do Batman v Superman, and there was no plan after that. So it also reminded me very much so what DC was doing of the Star Wars fiasco, and why Kathleen Kennedy failed abysmally with the sequel trilogy is that there wasn't really a plan in place. And yes, to some extent there was a plan. Zack Snyder had his plan. But what I mean by that is but then they took Zack Snyder, obviously with the passing of his daughter tragically, and after Justice League, they basically changed their mind, and they didn't want him in charge anymore. So given that happened, there really wasn't a plan. Yes, Zack Snyder had a plan, but the higher ups at DC didn't have a plan. Their plan was Zack Snyder's plan, and they're like, oh, just kidding, we don't want that plan anymore, And then it's all of a sudden there's no plan. So here's the thing that I think about is, if we really want to be able to judge Peter Safran and James Gunn on their own credibility and their own performance, we have to give them the reins to do what they're going to do. We have to actually give them creative control. And they can't really do that if they're trying to mend a broken universe that was started at this point. Let's say 2016 is essentially when 2013 with Man of Steel is technically when it was started. So at this point, it's been almost a decade of that universe that Snyder created, and Snyder's gone. So do we really want somebody else messing with his universe that didn't even come to fruition fully? And that's very unfortunate that they didn't give him a full slate. They should have given him a phase. They should have given him okay, here's phase 1 of your universe, and everything's connected, and you get more than just 3 movies. He made Man of Steel, BVS, and Justice League, and they're like, okay, goodbye. And Justice League, he didn't even really make it. I mean, he did, but Joss Whedon kind of butchered that, to be honest. But at least we saw the Snyder Cut. But fundamentally, here's what I'm getting at: is I actually support starting from ground zero because it needs the level of coherence, consistency, and unity that only James Gunn and Peter Safran can provide by recasting all the roles. And you can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You can't have two Supermen running around. It makes sense to just say Henry Cavill, hey, we're going to go with a younger Superman. We're recasting it, and that's going to be the kickstart of the universe, is a Superman solo film. James Gunn has said that Superman's the most important thing to get right in his new universe. And if he actually does that, that's good. I mean, that's the same approach Zack Snyder had. But, yeah, you know, it's controversial to say because as fans, we're divided between the fact that, like, these characters have been amazing and we really like Ben Affleck as Superman, or as Batman. We really like Henry Cavill as Superman. But the reality of it is they're also the characters have to serve the story to some extent. There has to be some level of coherence and unity to this universe. And right now we're not getting that at all because they're just making random movies. They can't do anything with Batman because Ben Affleck doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to come back. He's also like 50 years old, you know, and then Henry Cavill was willing to come back. Gal Gadot was. But also, was Gal Gadot going to do another 10 years of the Wonder Woman character? Is she going to want to do that the rest of her life? I mean, maybe. She can't get any other jobs. So maybe. But I just don't really think so. I think that this is the right move to restart from ground zero, recast everybody, recast for a Justice League film, do a Superman movie, then do a Justice League movie, introduce all the characters. John Campion made a great point that I agree with, which is that I don't think that you need to do all solo movies leading up to a Justice League film. And the reason why I know that is Guardians of the Galaxy didn't do that. They didn't need to have a solo movie for every single Avengers didn't do that. Avengers in 2012, they had solo films for Iron Man and Cap, and then everybody else was introduced on the spot. Maybe Thor was out at the time. I can't remember. 2 or 3 characters, but the other half were all introduced. That'd be fine. With Batman, you already have Robert Pattinson in his own universe, so you're kind of covered there. I think this is good. I think it's good to turn a new leaf, and this is, again, coming from big fanboys of the Henry Cavill Superman, the Ben Affleck Batman. These are all incredible casts. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was a great cast, in my opinion. Her Israeli accent kind of added to the otherworldliness of that character, as kind of weird as that is to say. Like, I felt like everything about that cast was kind of perfect. It was more perfect than just casting an American in the role, like Linda Carter, in my opinion. So I really support this. I think it's a great move. And I think it's the right thing to do at this point. And it's the only thing you really can do. But if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. I'm definitely open to having my mind changed or seeing different perspectives on it. But I just think the best way to do this, hit the big red button, relaunch it, start from ground zero, and go from there. I think it's the right move. I really do. If there was a way to mend the prior universe with a new universe they were building, they would have done it in the last 3 to 4 years. That's basically what Walter Hamada was doing, or trying to do, is to try to mend the past universes with these terrible talent contracts that are all broken and fractured, and this person doesn't want to come back, this person does, this person doesn't. Look, recast everybody, get them in like 6 film deals, and actually do what Marvel has done. And, okay, this is where I get controversial, and this is where I start to offend people, but, like, look, here's the thing. DC has better villains than Marvel. DC has better heroes than Marvel. DC is the original version of all of these heroes. 80% of Marvel characters are basically copied from DC, more or less. Dr. Fate versus Doctor Strange. I could go all the way down the list. Even just the fact, like, it really triggers me. Everybody knows I'm a DC fanboy. Okay, so I'm very biased, but it really triggers me that Warner Brothers and DC fucked up so badly that now the general public, when they see Darkseid for the first time on the big screen, which Zack Snyder's Justice League doesn't count, like, that was a streaming film. Most people didn't see that. But, I mean, like, let's say that James Gunn makes a $2 billion grossing Justice League movie that's actually great. It's not Joss Whedon bullshit, and everybody likes it. And they see Darkseid. They're going to say, oh my God, they copied Thanos. Do you know how much that fucking pisses me off? Because it's the exact opposite. Marvel copied DC. Blatantly. Thanos is a blatant ripoff of Darkseid. But because Warner Brothers fucked up so bad, that is not the consensus of the population. They're going to think that Marvel made it first, and now DC's going to be like, how can we change Darkseid? How can we make him different than Thanos? You know? It's like, get the fuck out of here. And it's just because they're incompetent. They fucked up. But it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been, we created the original version of all these characters, minus like 15%. 15% were copied from Marvel by DC, but very rare. Very rare. You can look online. Google, like, Marvel characters copied by DC. It's like all the characters. It's like literally all of them. And go through the list and see how much we fucked up. How much we fucked up. Doctor Strange, I'm pretty sure, actually, Dr. Fate was created, I believe, in 1940. When was he created? Let me double check here. Dr. Fate was created, yeah, May 1940. And then I believe Doctor Strange was created in 1963. Doctor Strange, when was he created? I Googled this like, yep, 1963. I have a good memory, guys. So July 1963. 23 years apart. If you look at the original character design, like, God, this just pisses me off. It pisses me off, people. And, Marvel characters copied by DC. All right, let's just go through the list here. Moon Knight was copied by Batman. Hawkeye came after Green Arrow. Let's see. Actually, Namor and Aquaman, was Namor the one that came first? I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Namor is a signed hero. I can't find it. Oh, yeah, Deadpool and Deathstroke. Black Cat copied Catwoman. Doctor Strange copied Dr. Fate. Vision copied Red Tornado. People don't know that. Red Tornado came first. Winter Soldier. They were Winter Soldier and Red Hood here. Maybe. I don't know. They're kind of different characters. Like, when I think of copies, I think of, like, Thanos and Darkseid, right? Where they look the fucking same. They're the same character. They're identical. One's just purple. But look, DC did it to themselves. Now they're going to be like, oh my God, who's this Green Arrow guy? He's such a ripoff of Hawkeye. That's their fault. That's their fault. It should have never been that way. It should have never come to that. So that's what pisses me off about this. But my rant aside, look, I think this is the right move. Reboot it. Start it from ground zero. Do a whole vision. Actually, don't do the Kathleen Kennedy model. Don't do the WB 2015 model where it's like every director gets their own vision. No, create a coherent vision for a phase of films, 6 to 8 movies that are interconnected, that fit in with one another, do it actually like Marvel did. And I'm not saying copy them directly. Obviously, although shit, maybe we should. Maybe we should. They copied all our characters. Let's copy their slate. Let's copy their slate. Fuck it. I'm fine with it. Look, a little payback. That's fine. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's what I think. I think that I think you restart it from ground zero and go from there and see what happens. So let me know what you guys think about this video down in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Are you upset that Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are gone, or do you kind of see my point that this could be a good path forward for the universe? Let me know your thoughts down below.